So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. In the last couple of months, a number of people have reached out to me asking, Neze, why aren't you giving us updates on the YUL and May story? What's up with them? Where are they on the divorce? Why are we not talking about it anymore as much as we used to talk about it previously? And I'm sure some of you would wonder, why is this particular case bringing about so much public interest? Why is it evoking so much emotions and so much attention? I believe for two reasons. This ongoing divorce between May Juddy and YUL is not just a story of a celebrity scandal. It is a true life story that has sparked very serious and much needed cultural conversations. It has in many ways formed a part of an era of awareness for women both in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole. You know, for a long time, for generations, African women have been taught to forgive anything and endure everything and accept our husband's decisions without question, regardless of how cruel, mean, or hurtful and damaging it is to us. Betrayal and disloyalty are masked in fancy traditional wrapping papers, and women are expected to endure them with grace and silently, even if it causes extreme emotional or physical distress. And then comes this woman who is saying that you have a right to choose. You have a right to choose what you will accept in a marriage, even if and when culture says otherwise. May Juddy's public refusal and insistence on refusing and rejecting a principle and a phenomenon that our mothers and their mothers before them have accepted. Her adamance to refuse being counted and numbered amongst wives like livestock has sent a very strong message to plenty of women. And while doing so, it has also bruised the egos of many men like her husband YUL. Men who see it as a bad precedent that will affect their unchecked liberties. Like, how dare you? How dare you give women wings? So it has been inspirational on one hand and very triggering on the other, thus making it very controversial and sparking a lot of interest. The second reason why I think that this case is so popular and will not stop being popular anytime soon is because of the legal awareness and complexities that it has brought. This case of May and YUL and the divorce and everything that has happened has brought about knowledge and awareness of plenty of legal facts that people were not aware or cognizant of hitherto. Would you believe that a lot of people didn't even know before this case, that the Nigerian statutes actually has a law that prohibits bigamy, that prohibits getting married to another person when you are legally married to one. People didn't know that there is something called damages for adultery, that the court can fine you heavily for committing adultery with another person's spouse. So when one is filing for a divorce, that person can also file for compensation for damages against the adulterer that slept with his or her spouse. We also have the ruling of the courts banning YUL Juddy from accessing their marital home, which is very uncommon, very novel in this part of the world. Typically in Nigeria, when a marriage ends, it is the woman that packs her bags and baggages. It is the woman that packs her load and luggages and leaves the house. Whether she's at fault or whether it's the man that is at fault, whether she's the one that has been wronged or maltreated, she is the one that would leave. It's either she leaves voluntarily or the man can just throw her out or kick her out like a piece of paper. But in this case of May and YUL, when May filed for a divorce, as part of her legal actions, she sought a court order restraining YUL, her estranged husband from accessing their marital home. She cited concerns for her safety and her well-being, and the court granted her request and asked YUL to get out. So he was sent out of his matrimonial home. So this almost seemed like a landmark decision. Many people have never seen or heard of such a thing happening in Nigeria. So yes, this case is bringing about plenty of legal awareness, thus sparking deep interests in a lot of people. And let us not forget the mysterious death of a child in the heat of this saga. The strange, shocking, and mysterious way that May's first son died shortly before Judy had her own son, and the unbelievable way that YUL and his concubine Judy reacted just a few days after the boy passed, coming on social media to dance and jubilate. It seemed like a real-life Nollywood movie play out before the eyes of everyone, and it sure sparked deep emotions in people, making them personally vested to see the end of this case. So back to the crux of this video. It's been about 2 years, almost 2 years. May filed for a divorce in August 2 years ago. So it will soon be 2 full years since May filed for a divorce from her estranged husband YUL. So where are we on that case? What is the update? What is the status? Has it been concluded? What is the verdict? The way a divorce is handled in Nigeria depends largely on the kind of marriage that was conducted. If it is a customary marriage, the one we call traditional marriage, if it was just that one alone that was conducted, it is pretty simple and largely more straightforward to dissolve. For a customary marriage divorce, dissolution of a customary marriage, it starts with one or both parties of the marriage indicating that they do not have any more interest to continue with the marriage. It goes through the family, who most times play the role of mediators. So the families will try to mediate, and if mediation fails, dissolution can go ahead to take place almost immediately by a simple return of the bride price. In some cases, mediation might even not take place. It might be skipped in the event where there has been crisis in the marriage and both families are aware that the marriage cannot be fixed anymore. So in this case, there is no attempt at mediation or conciliation. It goes straight to, gather the families, return the bride price, and the other family, the woman's family, returns the bride price. It is very significant in our culture, and the other family, by accepting that bride price, it marks the end and the termination of that marriage. Just like this, within 48 hours, a traditional or customary marriage can be brought to an end. But where there is a statutory marriage, which is either a church marriage, the one we call church marriage, that's marriage before an ordained minister, or a court marriage, which in proper nomenclature is called a registry marriage. So when it's a court or a church marriage, as we like to refer them to, that's a statutory marriage. It is a different ball game. Divorce in this case is not an easy venture. It is not as easy as it is freely said or used on social media. It is hectic. It is emotionally draining. It is very expensive, and it is time consuming, highly time consuming. It is not pleasant. And so, of course, there are steps to this. What has happened in this case? Which step are there on in this case? The first step to getting a divorce is to confirm eligibility. Are you aware that under our laws, it is not every person or every couple or every marriage that you can just go straight up to the court and file for a divorce? We have the 2-year rule under our family laws. So marriages under 2 years cannot just be dissolved except by leave of court. So whoever wants to initiate a divorce where the marriage is below 2 years, has not reached the 2-year benchmark, has to take permission of the judge and show very, very concrete reason, an extreme situation at which the judge or the court will grant leave and give permission and say, okay, despite your marriage is not up to 2 years, you have been given permission to go ahead to file for divorce. So if your marriage is not up to 2 years, you cannot just jump to the court and say you want to file for a divorce. So that is step one. Then secondly, you have to identify the grounds. Upon which grounds are you coming under? There are strict grounds that you have to come under. Divorce cannot just be granted for any reason. And for May's case, from the court documents, her ground is adultery and emotional distress, emotional cruelty. Those grounds are sustainable in the court of law. Then thirdly, the person that wants a divorce through their lawyer will file a petition in courts. When that petition is filed, a divorce petition, the court bailiff will serve the petition. That's inform the other party, in this case you, that your spouse has brought a petition for divorce against you. So that is like officially notifying them. This has been done, but let us not forget that it came with many hitches. There was news all over that YUL Edochie refused to be served these court processes. He was evading service, and at the time when I was following up on that case, I know that they were contemplating using substituted service, either pasting it on his house or maybe serving him electronically. There was contemplation to use substituted service because he refused to be served this divorce petition. So after the service of the petition, then the other party, the spouse, who is called the respondent, will then respond whether, oh yes, I even want the divorce, let the person come and be going, thus making the petition not contentious. It becomes pretty straightforward. Or no, I don't want the divorce, or no, I didn't do this, I didn't commit adultery. It now becomes a case. It now becomes disputatious. Now for May and YUL has responded to the petition, and it also made the rounds on social media. I recall May Edochie's lawyer coming out to say that YUL denied committing adultery with his mistress Judy, saying that they're only skit makers and that they're not married. After the response by the respondent, which is YUL in this case, the next step is the pre-trial conference, which is also called the mandatory conference. This mandatory conference is a very important procedural stage in divorce under our family laws in Nigeria. It is not the law's objective to dissolve marriages. No judge, no justice, no reasonable human being is happy when a marriage crashes. So this mandatory conference is usually one last attempt at reconciliation. It's a formal meeting, usually between the parties and their counsel, where these parties, accompanied by their lawyers, come together to encourage settlement and reconciliation. Sometimes it works. I have seen couples that have initiated divorce proceedings, and during the trial, in the course of the trial, they reach a middle ground and they withdraw the divorce. They come back together. Oh yes, even people who have been divorced formally have sometimes come together and gotten remarried. Are you aware? So yes, sometimes the divorce is not born out of something very terrible. Sometimes it's just pride. A woman is so offended, she's so pissed off, she packs her load and say, I'm done, expecting her husband to, come and pet her, come and say sorry, come and woo her and win her back. And the man is like, oh, for the fact that you left my house, you're not coming back. And it becomes one big ego trying to supersede the other big one, and things just start snowballing and it just gets messed up. So these mandatory conferences sometimes play a role in reconciling couples. Another use of this pre-trial conference is for the parties to identify and agree on key issues in that case. So they can amicably agree on child custody. You can keep the child, I would pay this maintenance to you, or you be in charge of the child. They can mutually agree on how to split marital properties. Do they have joint ownership of assets? How do we split? How do we go our separate ways? The court would give you a chance to agree within yourselves. Then it's when that agreement fails, then the court will come in and say, okay, this is how it should be split. This is how much it should be paid. But yes, the court will give you an opportunity to present to it an agreeable and workable format that works for you guys. So that can also happen at this mandatory conference. So it basically narrows down what needs to be addressed during trial to help save the court's time, as well as help seek resolution first. And when resolution or reconciliation fails at this mandatory conference, then the case proceeds to trial proper. So this pre-trial stage of mandatory conference is where Mayor Dochie and YUL's divorce is. They have not been able to reach any common grounds or resolutions. According to the words going out there by May's lawyers and others, YUL has been highly uncooperative. He has basically frustrated the conference, thus leading to multiple delays and adjournments. So while he is living his best life with his concubine Judy, he is keeping his estranged wife bound and unable to move forward properly. Well, the next court hearing is scheduled for sometime within this month, I believe, and one can only hope that the both parties have their reports ready so they can move forward in their case. As I mentioned, if at this mandatory conference reconciliation or settlement fails, then they proceed to trial. Evidence will be tendered. Witnesses will be called to testify. The personal testimony of the petitioner, that's the person bringing the divorce petition, can also be taken. So the petitioner will go first. That is May and her team will go first. Oh, she's alleging adultery. She has to prove it. She will bring her own evidence. She can bring witness, which the other party, YUL's counsel, have rights to cross-examine. Then the respondents, YUL and Judy, because Judy has been, joined as a party in this case. She's been sued for adultery. I think she's been sued for 100 million naira in damages. So these parties too would also bring their own witnesses and their own testimony, and the other party, May's counsel, can also cross-examine them. A full trial will ensue, after which the both parties will give their closing arguments and then judgment will come. If the court sees reason to grant the divorce, it will first grant a divorce nice, which is a temporal divorce. You can see there are so many things that stalls a divorce from being given in Nigeria. So even after all these delays and after all these years and after all these attempts at reconciliation, when the divorce is given, it's not complete. So it's not a full divorce. It is called a divorce decree nice. Okay, so that is like a temporal divorce where the court gives you another 3 months to see if you're going to change your mind. Don't you want to change your mind? So the court will give you 3 months. That's pending. So at that point, nobody legally should be married, should remarry. I know that some countries are like zoos. Anything happens, a man can be legally married and still go and marry another person, because decadence, decay, disrespect for the law is the order of the day in some countries. But how it is designed is that when this first decree is given, the decree nice, that 3 months is like a probationary period where reconciliation can still happen. If reconciliation happens at the decree nice stage, then that divorce was never complete. That marriage was never dissolved. The parties can go home and continue living as husband and wife. Okay? Then after that 3 months period of decree nice, then that decree of divorce now becomes absolute. The courts will now be finalized, and that marriage has completely been dissolved. That is the only time that either party, the man or the woman, is legally allowed to go ahead and remarry. And if at the stage where the decree becomes absolute, they decide to reconcile, they want to come back together, that marriage does not exist anymore. They have to start afresh and go to the registry and conduct the wedding all over again. So from what I have narrated, you can see that in this case of May and YUL, they are just starting. They've not even gone anywhere. They are still in a pre-trial mandatory conference. They've not even entered the trial proper. And 2 years has passed. So when you hear people say a broken engagement is better than a broken marriage, it's not just about the emotional or physical distress that you actually experience in the marriage. It can also connote the very, very tedious and hectic process of breaking that marriage or dissolving that marriage. Do let us know what you think down below of these processes. Do you think it is too long, cumbersome, and unfair? I mean, someone is already going through pain, either physical or emotional, so why stretch the person thin any further? Why can't the process be more speedy? For a person to come to court asking for a divorce, that means the person does not want to do. I don't want to. Is it by force? Which one is from trial conference to decree IC to forcing me to to reconcile? That is bullcrap. What do you think? Or do you think that to preserve the sanctity of marriage, these measures are very essential? Drop your thoughts down below on what you think of the process. If you have any idea, also let us know down in the comment section what it is like in your country. Is the divorce process this hectic and cumbersome, or is it easy peasy lemon squeezy? Let us know down below. So yes, I believe that this May Edochie and YUL Edochie's divorce saga transcends way beyond celebrity gossip. It is a defining case in both our cultural and legal landscape. YUL's bold insistence that May must accept another woman in their marriage signifies an age-long misogynistic entitlement where a man's desires are prioritized over a woman's emotional well-being. And on the other hand, May's bold refusal and her demand for dignity and legal accountability, disrupting that narrative that loyalty in marriage should only be one-sided, serves as a turnaround and as a symbol of strength for many African women who have been long silenced by selfish traditions. What is the outcome gonna be? I'll keep updating you and I will let you know as this case proceeds. It has also come to our headquarters, our head office, that YUL's concubine, Judy Austin, is pregnant for his third child. I thought the court documents say that they are skit makers. Let me know down in the comment section whether you would like us to talk about that pregnancy and all the karma that people are saying is happening over there. Have you heard? Let me know down below if you would like us to talk about it in some other video. So guys, yes, we are done with today's video. If you're new here, you're seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop all your comments down in the comment section, and stay glued, for we have so much more coming your way. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.